What can I tell you? You can read about it in the history books. You know, the thing about the ending is everybody, it's kind of like the sinking of the Titanic. You know the Titanic sank. But still, Jim Cameron's movie made, you know, $1 billion back in the day. So it's not about what actually happened. It's not about the ship sinking. It's not about the Romans winning. It's about how did we get there. It's the human story. And the great thing about the history of Spartacus is, if you read it, it's all written from the Roman side. So from an artistic standpoint, there's nothing about the people. It's only this battle was lost and this person died. There's nothing about why. So that's something we really get to explore. And the trickiest thing about the ending is you don't want to have the complete downbeat ending. You know, everybody died, they lost, and it's the great thing in Kirk Douglas's version of Spartacus. There was that ray of hope. Even though he was crucified, his son was going to live free. So we're not doing that, obviously, but I think we found a way to have a message of victory in the face of defeat.
Can I just ask you real quick, how was that evening that you and Liam spent with Kirk Douglas?
That evening with Kirk Douglas was amazing. I mean, Liam and I were just looking at each other all night. It's like, is this really happening? Because beyond the movie Spartacus, I'm a huge Kirk Douglas fan. You know, movies like 7 Days in May, just some of my favorite movies. And Lonely Are the Brave, also one of my favorite movies. So to actually meet him was just phenomenal. And obviously, he hasn't been in great health over the years, but he could not have been sharper, more spry and engaging, and put Liam and I both to shame. I mean, you really saw why he was such a huge star.
So because it's a final season, what are you going to give us? Like, how epic is it going to be?
What would you like? We're not done shooting yet.
You tell me.
I want him to live.
Change the ending.
I want him to sail off in a boat.
There you go. Yeah, whenever I talk about the ending, people always whisper to me, well, you know, they never found his body. You know, we're trying to do something this year that is just massive in the scope of storytelling, since it is two armies facing each other that had varying accounts from anywhere to 40 to 100,000 people in these armies. And that's the backdrop. Obviously, this season isn't all about the battles. It's really about the emotions. And the thing that I found most interesting about this story is, historically, there was a lot of infighting among the rebels. They did not get along. There was vast differing opinions about how this war should be fought and what they should be doing. And we really explore that. We explore that how people who have a bond can love and hate each other at the same time, and how things can fracture at the seams. And we also explore war crimes on both sides. That, you know, the heroes aren't always heroic. They do some very fucked up things this season.
What was the most challenging for you? The third season, second season, you found a lead actor. The third season, you didn't need to look for the lead actor, but you have to conclude I don't remember the answer when the news came to you, but just before you start to write the third season arc or the middle of the.
We actually knew towards the end of Spartacus Vengeance, when we were shooting it, that this would probably be the last season. But it wasn't until we were already working on this season that we were 100% sure. Luckily with history, I knew what the end game was. So I had, before we even started Spartacus, before we shot the first episode of Spartacus, back with Andy Whitfield, I knew where it was going to end. I didn't know all the specifics, but I had a very strong idea of where we were going. So I think the most challenging thing about this season is just the sense that we want to make it satisfying. You know, we want the audience to come away saying, I really wish the show was still continuing, but damn, that was a great season. I mean, that was the way to go out. I think the worst thing any show can do is not stick the landing. because then it makes you look back at everything you've seen before that and go, I don't know if I really liked it as much as I thought I did. So there is a huge amount of pressure, especially in that last episode, to really deliver.
So does the ending that you've written, does it match up with what you had in your head at the beginning of the
Haven't actually written it yet. I am halfway through the production draft of episode 8. Then I got to do the production draft of 9, and sometime in August I'll start writing the finale.
How are you handling the scope of the ending as far as the budget? I mean, you got this huge, you got Roman legions, you got Spartacus, 100,000 people, and how are you handling the scope?
You know, it's a juggling act. You've got to pick your battles, really. You know, there are massive shots in this season. Massive CGI shots of battles and massive battles with actual people. But again, you don't want that to be the whole story. Because if that's the whole story, I think people will lose interest very quickly. So it's a balancing act between that massive backdrop and human emotion of what's going on. And just like when they're fighting in the arena, you really want, during one of these big battles, for people to have goals and personal goals. So that's something that's really set up at the end of the season. There are personal grudges and personal things that people want to accomplish beyond just beating the Romans, beyond just beating the Romans. In the high side.
Thank you.